You guys are flooding in our email inbox after our H-1B expose asking how you can help investigate. Well, we've got those answers for you and a tool to help mobilize people all across the country. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Happy Friday. We have been, it's funny. My producer was like, let me set up a rule for you in your inbox so that you don't keep getting all of these emails because I'm sure it's a lot. And I'm like, I don't really know that I want the rules set up where I don't see them because I'm actually enjoying going through all of them. All of my free time now is reading all of these emails that are coming in. We've got, people from India reaching out, thanking me for exposing this. Now, on the other hand, we do have some who are just in full-blown panic mode. I read this tweet and I wanted to share it. These are Indian. Desi WhatsApp groups are going bonkers after Sara Gonzales' latest report on H-1B scam hit YouTube. One fella saying he is considering self-deporting, another even saying he is contemplating the unthinkable. Absolute panic. Well, don't contemplate that. Just go home. Just go back home. There's no reason for the heightened drama. And then you have others out there claiming to know what the rules are. And they're like, we need to protect people who are breaking them. 2 Indian Americans, understand your rights. When people trespass on your property, tell them they are trespassing and call the cops if they don't go away. Don't engage with journalists in good faith. Many are race grifters. Learn self-defense. Like they're going to kung fu me off the porch, I guess. Now, that actually is a point that I would like to address here. You actually, and I, have every right to ask about the business. It's the law. So I want to take the example of our good friend Hari. I just asked Hari, knock, knock, knock. I just asked him a simple question about his business, Qubits Technologies. Immediately calls 911. Somebody is like threatening me. And here's where he went wrong. I've actually been informed it's illegal for him to refuse to provide me the information when requested. Now, the place of business on the LCA H-1B paperwork was the address that I showed up to. We've had some privacy complaints from our friend, and so we're not going to show it right now, but you can look up the LCA because it's all public information. So you go look that up. Okay, here it is, the case number. And according to the Department of Labor, Fact Sheet 62F says an H-1B employer's public access records that must be maintained and made available under the H-1B program. Any member of the public requesting access to the documents must be allowed to capture the information through such means as transcription, scanning, or taking photographs, for example. So, it's not my problem that they list their home as the place of business, which doesn't seem to be very much work happening there. The process exists to protect transparency. I actually do have a right to come ask you questions at the place of business, which happens to be listed as that particular home. So a message to Hari, next time I come back and knock, 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 I'd like for you to provide your papers. Maybe you should get them in order. And don't call 911 on me again, because that actually, maybe you're not familiar with our laws. You didn't bother learning them when you came here. What you did by calling 911 could get you in some serious trouble, Hari.
If somebody is knocking on my door and then they are like threatening me.
Here's what I can tell you about our laws here, Hari. You're not allowed to create false 911 calls. What is faking an emergency call? Faking an emergency call refers to intentionally providing false or misleading information to emergency services such as 911, which he did call. I saw it on his phone. It wasn't the non-emergency, to elicit a response from police, fire, or medical personnel. the consequences of which it can be classified as a Class A misdemeanor, which carries penalties of up to 1 year in county jail and fines of up to $4,000. Third-degree two-state jail felony if the false report causes a substantial risk of harm, such as injuries during a police response. The offense may escalate to a state jail felony, which carries penalties of 6 months to 2 years in a state jail facility and fines of up to $10,000. So, maybe next time, don't accuse someone of threatening you when they've got on video that they didn't actually do so. More to come on that, by the way. We've FOIA'd some information that I think will be very valuable. Now, there are a lot of people trying to claim, what's the fraud? Come on, Sara, people are allowed to run businesses from their homes. I have an LLC set up and it's my home address. I'm able to do it. Yeah, I understand that's not illegal and we're not disputing that. We are actually exposing the shady practices that are happening with the H-1B and the LCA, which lead to a lot more compliance questions. Now, we already saw in our expose that our good friend Hari didn't have workers there, didn't have an office there, didn't look like that. Do you go to your office in your boxers? So here are more questions we have about these businesses. Are they H-1B petitions for jobs that do not actually exist? Do the jobs actually exist? Are they listing work sites where no work is performed? Are they benching visa holders without pay while saying they have full-time employment? Are they keeping workers in the United States working or unpaid after termination beyond the 60-day grace period? Are they falsifying experience, resumes, or job duties to meet specialty occupation requirements? Got a lot of emails on that one, guys. Are they paying below the prevailing wage? A lot of emails on that one, too. Are they charging workers illegal fees? Because you can't actually bring someone in and be like, I'm just the consulting firm. By the way, worker, you got to pay me a percentage of this. You got to pay me a chunk of that. These are the pieces that could eventually show that they are committing fraud, and that's what we are trying to find out. That's what we're trying to find out. By the way, my last message to Hari right now before we move on, and I want to show you guys, I want to bring on someone to show you guys a tool so that you can actually do this yourself. Fix your damn website, okay? The Qubits website, we've already exposed you. You already know that we went to your website. You already know that we showed it. Can you please get start? Click here to get start. If you have questions, contact us. Fix your damn website. You're supposed to be the high-tech software engineer. Specialize in IT and websites and all that. Fix it. Please. My gosh. All right. I was on Alex Jones earlier today, and we talked about wanting to empower the average citizen to go out and do this themselves. Like I'm one person, I'm Sara Gonzales. I know there are a lot of people out there who are trying to get this information out. My producer went out and researched all of this because it's all publicly available info, but I'm only one person and I can't go to all of your states yet. Now, we will have more to come. There's so much more that we have to come, but I'm only one person and I can only handle so much. So one of the main questions that I've been asked is, how can I help investigate? Well, we need to build an entire fleet of investigators to look into these potential cases of fraud. Now, one way is you can easily Google things, right? You can search a business name, you can search the H-1B and see if anything looks out of place. Like, what is the location? What is it? Like, you can just ask questions. You can show up and ask for that public available form, but there's actually a much simpler tool that can help you out. And that is where my next guest comes in. He's a leading warrior in this fight against H-1B visa scams. And he created a website, actually, which will allow you to just investigate your area. This is Enli Plumb. He is running for U.S. Congress in Texas's 2nd Congressional District. Nick, thank you for joining me. I am just blown away by the tool that you created, fraudreporter.visadata.org. And I wish that we had known about it before we started our investigation, because it would have really helped. We were just going through all of it manually. But you have created this tool, this automated tool to help find visa fraud and launch investigations. So we've got this walkthrough. Can you go ahead and tell the audience about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sarah, for having me
Yeah.
on. So it all started with just a basic journey. I was plugging away, digging through the data like everyone else was. And I realized there was a group, I don't know, 30 or 40 of us that were doing the same tasks over and over and over again. So I decided I'd spin up a quick website with a map that would allow any user that would be interested in diving into this to access the map, pick their area, and drill down into the location they wanted to go to. Along with that, I created some background why it matters, what's important, how to go ahead and roll through the request, and a little bit of an explainer on that public access file request. So on the screen, you see we're diving into Dallas here. You can just, pick your location. Once you do, there's a pop-up that says Start Investigation. If you click the Start Investigation tab, it'll auto-populate this data for you. You just have to hit Next Step from there. If you'd like to get a copy of any public access form you drop off, you can put your email in that little box there, hit Generate the form. It'll generate a sheet of paper that you can take with you to ask, the next Hari if they can present their PAF. The form's not required, but it is something that, makes you maybe feel more official walking through some of these office buildings. But if you look across the map, I mean, this is ridiculous. It is everywhere. I've gone and checked, I don't know, 30 to 40 locations myself. I've had three that I think may be legitimate, but I was unable to get anybody to even answer the door and request a public access or to request the public access file.
Wow. So the overwhelming majority of the places that you are visiting,
Yeah.
something stinks.
Yeah, lots of stuff stinks. They are either empty buildings like you showed on your show, covered with dusty floors. They are something totally different than what they say they are. Uh, and when they are something different than what they say they are, those tenants tend to say, our mail or the mail from the prior tenant is still getting sent here. It's accumulating, which opens up all sorts of questions. If these are legitimate businesses, why would they not turn on mail forwarding? Why would they not be updating their LCA documents? What are they hiding, and why don't they want to be found?
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I think that there are a lot of Americans who they've kind of been asleep at the wheel. They've never really thought about it. They don't know where to go or the process. I mean, I went into this thinking I'm just kind of a privileged American. I understand that. I don't know the visa process because I've never had to go through it because why would I? I'm an American. You know what I mean? And so I
Yeah.
think that there are a lot of Americans who don't realize, no, it's not just, oh, you put your business, as your residential home. No, you actually have to comply with the laws with the H-1B and the LCA that you have to post the actual work site location. You have to update it if you change the work site. And so that's where it really gets dicey from what we're finding. But tell me this. I have more
Yeah.
questions for you, but I just thought of this. How often do you run into the like flex space, WeWork type locations? Because when we're looking into this, we're coming into a lot of just random remote virtual office spaces, the co-working spaces where you're sharing space with other, remote employees. Have you come across that as well a lot?
Yeah, I think you can bucket it into like three different types. There's the home, which really makes you wonder if there's a bona fide job at all, which is required to file the LCA. Makes you wonder if it's even a real business.
Yep.
There's also those that are in the work styles, where you go in and you rent a virtual space. They may or may not even have an office. And then there's that third bucket where you go in and you rent a suite in a building. None of them seem particularly legit. At least those that have a door you can knock on, you can request the public access file. I found one in Sugarland the other day that is above a U-Haul center, absolutely just riddled with them. And then there's, I guess, one fourth trend, caveat, whatever you want to call it. They all tend to have an immigration lawyer within a stone's throw of where these places are set up.
Interesting. Um, I won't get into what that immigration lawyer's name might sound like. So, you obviously know a lot about this H-1B visa issue. Obviously, you're very passionate about it. What made you decide to do all of this?
Yeah, so I mean, there's really two things. One is my oldest daughter graduated high school last year. I'm going to brag for a second. She had a 4.5 GPA. She graduated with 32 college
Wow.
credits coming out of high school.
Wow.
Every EC that you could extracurricular you could imagine, whether it was athletic or academic. She graduated in Colorado, where my ex-wife lives. So when she tried to get into University of Texas at Austin and was rejected from the entire school system, I thought maybe there's more than just the work visa happening. I work in big tech. I'd seen my teams change drastically
Mhm.
in the last 5 years in terms of demographic makeup. I saw a lot of foreign hires being brought in. Uh, and then when it hit home, it was my daughter. That's really what pushed me over the edge. That's what compelled me to run for office, even, let alone dive into the data. The As a data professional, the the scary thing is there is zero chance anybody at the government has been looking at this for the last, I don't know, 5 or 10 years. And if they were, then there's all sorts of other questions. Why were they allowing this to happen? Was it negligence? Was it kickbacks? And I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to lean into they just weren't looking. I don't know, our high trust system was taken advantage of.
Yeah, that's the major question that I have as well since I started, doing all of the digging myself is just like, where is USCIS? I understand, I had a state legislator here in the state of Texas text me after we ran our expose, and he said, the federal government did this to us and we didn't even get to vote on it. And so I realize that Florida is trying to eliminate their state, H-1B positions right now. And I think Texas should definitely follow. But there is a very sinister level of like the federal government is just doing all of this and, approving all of this. And then we just are like at their mercy of whatever they would like to do. And if they want to check into it, great. And if they don't, I guess you're just getting an influx of people who don't really care to assimilate. And I love that you brought up that anecdotal story about your daughter because I'm a born and raised native Texan and, I went to high school in the area. And even back then, I mean, I never really thought about it, but even back then you could have, like you're saying, 4.5 GPA. Mine was not as high, but still high. And you couldn't get into the public schools in Texas because they have a rule that if you live here, if you are in state, that like the top 10% of your school, you get to go to whatever in-state school, public school that you want to go to. Well, that was being taken up by Indians, now that I think about it, and Asians who were coming here and they were getting the however high you can go. And all of those spots were getting taken up by people who seemingly were foreign and came into this country as foreign nationals. So now that you're saying this, I'm connecting the dots like, wow, this is actually impacting way more places than I even realized. What is your advice to other people around the country with your tool here that you created?
Use it, right? We've got to crowdsource this. The government's failing us right now. Try to make it as easy as I could for everybody to go out, identify these locations, tried to outline a standard protocol to go out and collect the data that you are entitled as an interested party. And I hope everybody that's in America that works or has children or plans to have children considers themselves an interested party. You have the right to go out and request this information. If you do that, please take a few minutes, upload that data into here. I've got it all storing in a database, and we'll each week be pulling the new everything that's input new and sending it to the Department of Labor. Can't say they're going to do anything, but at least we're going to provide them with that information, and I will make public the count of cases that were forwarded, along with any of the data that is needed to support that.
Great.
The other thing, the other thing that I would suggest people do is it doesn't end at H-1B. There's an OPT program, there's a CPT program. It's optional practical training or curricular practical training. Those are things that I truly believe the state could challenge. I would love to see our attorney general file a suit challenging what is being called a training program as an illegal jobs program. And it is the conduit or the main pipeline into this H-1B program. And it's not going to be addressed by the $100,000 fee. Those folks are already in the United States. They are exempt. And that is what happens after the student visa. If I can, I just want to hit on
Sure.
the demographic change that you mentioned with students. University of Texas in Austin over the last decade, white male population there has dropped 31%. White male student population has dropped 31%. Females have dropped 20%. The Asian female population has increased by 53%. The Asian male, 30 something. I forget the exact number for Asian male, but it is a catastrophic demographic change.
Gosh.
And it is a byproduct of this H-1B. These children that go there as the dependents of H-1B holders are classified as an H-4. They're in-state residents. They pay in-state tuition. Big high schools and concentrated areas like Frisco skew that 6% automatic acceptance rate.
Yeah.
And it is completely erasing opportunity for those that have, multi-generation Texans or multi-generation Americans. It's disgusting and it needs to end.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I appreciate all of your great work. Thank you so much for making this website. I also would like to just give you props. I had no idea about this public, access to this forum until I happened to see one of your ex posts back to me, and I was like, oh my God, I wish I would have known that before I went and knocked on Hari's door. I'm going to have to go back. So you were the one who gave me that tip. I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate all of your great work with this. Fraudreporter.visadata.org. Nick has made it available to you. What are you going to do with the information? I need all of you guys on the streets in your area doing the work that needs to be done. And that is how we save the country. Nick, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing the site with us.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Go there, guys. I'm telling you, there's not enough Nicks. There's not enough Saras. There's not enough insert name here of all of the people, all of the regular citizens who are trying to stop this. We all have to band together. Make sure that you are subscribed to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. And if you're watching there, make sure you're subscribed at Sara Gonzales TX. It's our new YouTube channel. We're doing a little experiment, if you wouldn't mind. It's a little thing that we're going to prove here very soon, very quickly. So Sara Gonzales TX is where you can find more of these exposés. We're releasing them exclusively on that particular YouTube channel. I want to thank our sponsor, Kindred Harvest. So you need to know what's in what you're consuming. We are Maha Central here at SGU. And what you may not know, if you like to drink tea and you're buying your tea from the grocery store, the Chinese tea industry has actually flooded America with products contaminated by microplastics and heavy metals. That's not what you want to do. Don't put that in your body. Get Kindred Harvest instead. They are the American answer to that third-party lab-tested, zero microplastics, zero heavy metals, blended and packed right here in the USA. And listen, if you got morning energy, you want evening herbal, you want their immunity tea, they've got a cinnamon apple tea. They have got clean tea for your entire family. So stop trusting China with your family's health. Choose American quality. Choose Kindred Harvest. Support an American company. KindredHarvest.co. Use code Sara for 20% off. That is KindredHarvest.co. Code Sara for 20% off. I know that I don't have to, if you watch the show, I don't have to explain to you why you shouldn't trust the mainstream media, why you shouldn't trust what the Democrats say. If you see a headline on CNN, why you should just completely disregard it. Because they're absolute clowns with the narrative to paint. But just hear me out, okay? Just for the sake of just getting this out of my system. Let me tell you about the boy who cried wolf. From the Democrats on X. In Minneapolis, ICE arrested a 5-year-old coming home from preschool and tried to use him as human bait. His teacher describes him as a, quote, bright young student. These monsters are sick. Oh my God. I mean, sound the alarm. Sound the alarm if they're arresting 5-year-olds now? Ha! Boy, maybe we do have a reason to be upset. And now you see this, the initial post, the claim then got repeated over and over and over again. Kamala Harris, Liam Ramos is just a baby. He should be at home with his family, not used as bait by ICE and held in a Texas detention center. I am outraged, and you should be too. And you had Ilhan Omar. I mean, this is all the usual suspects, right? ICE just detained a 5-year-old child. Don't tell us this. Don't tell us this is about the worst of the worst. That's a lie. Absolutely vile. Did I nail that? Steven,
It needs some work, but I'll tell you what, you got something cooking.
I mean, that was my first time, and I didn't plan on it.
I've never heard that before. That
it was good, right?
You got something cooking there. And I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna workshop that.
This could get fun.
I feel like that was really good.
I don't know how you're going to do the videos, though. You might have to get a little dangerous situation.
Old blackface is not allowed, but maybe we try it.
We can talk about that. We can get the what's the turban zing? What's it?
The ching, the turban. So you get the point, right? You have enough stupid, retarded Democrats who utter these it's totally true that ICE arrested a 5-year-old. And then all of a sudden, the mainstream media is like, oh my God, ABC News, 5-year-old asylum seeker detained as ICE expands enforcement in Minnesota. Now, I could just go on, but I would take up the rest of my show just to show you literally the same headline over and over again. I mean, let's just, oh gosh. Arrested, thrown in the back of a cop car. Now you're like, well, wait, hold on. Why is ICE detaining this 5-year-old? Okay, let me give you, as the great Paul Harvey once said, the late great Paul Harvey, the rest of the story.
And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy. And I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien. And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death?
And now the story becomes much different because it transformed from ICE just arrested a 5-year-old to, wait a second, this loving father just literally abandoned his kid. He's like, every man for himself, go. Like, what was his name? Liam Ramos? Is that what it said? Let's see. Yeah, Liam. Liam, go, save yourself. It's cold. Bundle up, buddy. I gotta go. It's just poor little Liam in his little hat. His dad just was straight up abandoned him and was like, gotta go. Have a good life. It becomes a much different story. It turns out the Maryland father and the Minnesota father, we've got all the fathers of the year with these people. And they're just trying to save themselves from ICE. And ICE ends up being the true heroes of the story. Ironically enough, ICE were the ones who heroically swooped in to help this poor child who was abandoned by his awful illegal father. And it's just like, wow, they are really egregious. They'll just lie. They just lie about literally anything if it serves their if it advances their political ideology. Now, there was one Democrat, I thought, wow, interesting perspective, kind of against the grain on whether or not we should be deporting children.
5 and 6 years old who have come up from Central America. We need to do more to provide border security in southern Mexico.
They should be sent back now.
Well, they should be sent back as soon as it can be determined who responsible adults and their families are, because there are concerns about whether all of them can be sent back. But I think all of them who can be should be reunited with their families.
Wow. Old Hillary Clinton is actually a Republican now. In 2026, that's what we're saying. Hillary Clinton, Hill Dog, back in the day, was saying, yes, we should deport the 5-year-olds. I don't care if they're 5. I don't care if they're 9 months. I don't care if they're 10. Like, who cares? If they're here illegally, they should be sent back. This is literally in total agreement with Tom Homan, who is supposed to be like the worst person in the world to the Democrats, when he said they can all be deported together. Families should stay together. Just, you can all be deported. That's actually an old Hillary Clinton position now in 2026. When someone like Tom Homan or Donald Trump says it, you're the worst person in the world. You're literally Hitler. These are the types of people that we're dealing with now. These are the types of people that we're dealing with. The people in Minneapolis who are trying to hold a statewide protest to stick it to Donald Trump. They're going to stick it to Donald Trump. Enough is enough. Hundreds of Minnesota businesses take stand against ICE. Yes, they are closing shop. They're closing shop. Many people vowed to pause everyday activities as part of a general strike against the Trump administration's crackdown. That's going to do it. That's going to solve it. They will not participate in their own economy in the state of Minnesota because Orange Man bad.
They got him, Sarah.
They got him. They finally did it. They got him, Stephen.
Got him. He's screwed. What can he do?
Oh, my God. He's never going to come back from this. You guys got him. The same way that we... Did you know that we ended racism, Stephen? Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw they was on the NFL, and so now it's just gone.
Yep.
And
they had him
what's
on
the
their
new one?
helmets.
It says like "love everyone" or something like that.
Yep.
And everyone.
Yep. And it's going to accomplish it because they had it on their helmets and they had it in the end zones. End racism.
Everyone was racist, and then they saw that.
Right.
And
it got posted on the helmet, and it was like, boom, we did it. We solved the problem. They are solving Donald Trump's problem.
It's just like the no kings in Europe.
Right.
They got it. There's no kings in Europe anymore.
They did it. No kings at Davos. Oh, except for all of those European countries and officials that are showing up that literally have monarchs. They did it. I mean, these people are so retarded. We're going to commit economic suicide in our state because Orange Man bad. Oh, and then let me give you one more, and then we're going to go to break here. While we're talking about Minnesota, which obviously is overrun by Somalians who should go home, you have this one arguing that being Somali, it's more than bananas and rice, okay? This is quite the compelling argument here. Watch.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American. But it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice.
Wait,
people don't really see.
You said it wasn't.
It's people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you're gonna get what I mean.
Ma'am, you just said it's more than bananas and rice. And then the only thing you could jump to with the Band-Aid on your light bulb head is bananas and rice? That tracks. With the inbreeding and the low IQ, that actually tracks. All right.
Sarah, name something good about it. Go.
Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're pirates. There's this shithole country. There's nothing. I mean, I can't blame her. The only mistake that she made was saying that it was more than bananas and rice. That was the mistake.
Pirates. They're good at pirates.
Oh, they are good at. They're good. They're good at corruption. They're good at fraud. They're good at coming here and siphoning off taxpayer money and sending it to terror groups. They are really good at those things. They are good at that. It's just not good for society. All right, we've got to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our next guest. But we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Protect. So, Patriot Protect is there for those of you guys who are you realize that the internet. Actually, your personal information, your name, your address, your phone number, your family members, your age, everything about you is publicly available online right now. It's not hard to find. You just do one simple search and you're going to find hundreds of data brokers openly listing your personal, very personal, intimate contact details. This is how scammers actually decide who to target. And this is how identity fraud starts long before the damage actually shows up. I don't know if you realize this, in the last year alone, 100 million Americans were exposed in the Change Healthcare ransomware attack. You had 73 million AT&T customers who had their social security numbers and passcodes appear on the dark web. There is a lot at risk on the internet. As 2026 begins, there's a choice to make. Do you keep leaving your information online and vulnerable, or are you going to take action to remove it? Patriot Protect removes your personal data from the internet. It'll wipe it from Google and every major website where scammers, cyber criminals, and stalkers search for targets. You never agreed to share this information, so take it back with Patriot Protect. They're going to delete your personal information from 240 plus people search engines and data brokers. And listen, once your profiles are eliminated, their search and destroy protocol runs continuous monitoring, so they can, of course, take the new ones that come up and wipe them immediately. You want to start 2026 with less exposure and more control. Use my code Sara over at patriot-protect.com/Sara. You'll get 15% off all Patriot Protect plans. That is patriot-protect.com/Sara, promo code Sara. Joining me now, we have the one and only Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV contributor and actor and producer extraordinaire, along for the ride to talk about, I'm at 19% battery. We'll see if this thing hangs
on. Are you
at
19% battery?
Literally my body is at 19% energy, but just 24/7 because I don't sleep. But also my computer here. So the Biden DOJ, I think, as we continue to find out, is going to have to go down as like the biggest weaponization of the justice system and every single federal agency, really, when you look at the Biden regime. But the DOJ has to be, the history books should reflect the worst weaponization of the Justice Department of all time. And I just need to see some accountability on this. I know that we had Jack Smith kind of getting raked over the coals in front of Congress. And I want to show an exchange. This is it's rather edifying to see him kind of flail when he was asked some basic questions. Here's some of that.
How much money did you spend in the investigating President Trump? How much money did your office spend?
I do not recall as I sit here now, but I know that pursuant to, I believe it's the special counsel regulations, reports were issued each 6 months detailing how much.
We gathered at $35 million. And what I want to know is how much of that $35 million of taxpayer money did you give to confidential human sources? We know you gave $20,000 to someone. It just got reported last week. How much more money did you pay confidential people we don't know about, with American tax money going after the guy we elected president?
My recollection regards the $20,000, which was not a payment from me. It was me approving a payment by the FBI to a confidential human source who was reviewing video and photographic.
Who's the source?
Evidence. I do not know the identity of the source.
How many other payments went to this source or other sources?
As I sit here, I do not know the answer to that question. My role as special counsel,
$35 million, and you're giving money to people the country doesn't know who they are, and you're giving their hard-earned money to these folks? The main question I have, too, with this is, why'd you have to do it? You subpoenaed bank records from the RNC, phone records from members of Congress. You got subpoenas for bank records for people sitting right there in the front row. Why did you have to pay people for information when you could subpoena them and get it?
Time has expired.
So I inject this into my veins, right? But what are you going to do next? We can't just send more sternly worded letters to the manager and have these hearings and have these people come here and admit or not admit, but in their non-admission actually really tell you that this whole thing was manufactured. It's like, I don't know if it's perjury. I don't know. Whatever you guys can, I can guarantee you can get him on something if you really would like.
Well, they do, even when there's nothing there.
Exactly.
Right? So what was interesting about that is he was like, well, I just approved of it. It wasn't from me. Isn't that what Michael Cohen did?
Right. Yeah.
Did Michael Cohen make a payment without
It's a great point.
Trump even knowing? But they still went after Trump for it, didn't they?
Yep.
Utter hypocrites. That was like, as you know, we've both got kids, right? That was just like watching a little child when you're like, I got you on camera doing it. And they're like, oh. But like I said, They've got to deliver. Pam Bondi, where are you? Prosecute, right? They need to be going to jail because guess what? They're going to do it again, and they're going to do it again, and they're going to do it again. So I think most people that when they hear about these hearings, what do you got? We all go like, I don't really care because nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's happening. I know.
Because Lois Lerner, nothing. Was it John Costigan? Was it nothing? Like all these people that have been dragged in front of these judicial hearings, nothing ever happens to them.
Yeah. How about, now this was for Epstein, but how about Bill and Hillary Clinton, who were just like, screw you and screw your subpoena. I'm not showing up. Steve Bannon got sent to prison for that. How long are we going to give them before they get the same treatment?
But it's the same thing when you look at what Biden did with his documents.
Right.
And that was from vice president. He was a vice president, wasn't the president. And they're like, oh, I just happened to have found these documents here and here. And then the left goes, well, he just gave them back. It doesn't matter. Like he took documents that he shouldn't have. And yet they go after Trump. Unless we like wake up and understand that this is asymmetrical warfare and they go after us, even when there isn't anything, they go after us, like the Republicans. We've got to start going. And these guys are guilty of things. We know that. Yeah, Brandon Gill did a terrific job yesterday.
He did.
He just exposed it. And this is the problem. We always talk about Trump playing chess where they're playing checkers. We're playing checkers all the time. The GOP is playing checkers all the time, and they know the moves. They just don't care. And it's a major problem. We need to see some people going to jail.
It's something that I was just talking to Alex Jones about earlier today, which is the average American, I think, is feeling increasingly frustrated with the lack of accountability.
Oh, yeah.
And they need some. And that's not to take away from the deportations, and that's not to take away from what ICE is doing in Minneapolis, and that's not to take away from all of the great things that this president has done. But if we can't, it's like, it's almost torture to have them deliver the evidence, to see this testimony, to have them show you in front of your very eyes that there was corruption happening at the highest levels. And you're like, now they're going to finally arrest them. Now something actually is going to happen. And then nothing happens. And it's like, I don't know how much longer. It feels like a powder keg at this point. It's like, I don't know how much longer we can continue seeing you guys deliver us all of the goods, all of the receipts that these people are just as corrupt as we thought that they were, and nothing happens.
Well, look, he's there. Jim is there talking about how much money you wasted.
Right.
This is all a waste of money. It's all a waste of money. Yeah. It's all smoke and mirrors. It doesn't matter unless someone ends up going to jail. Because at the end of the day, it's just not a deterrent.
Right.
The whole point about punishing people when they do a crime is to deter people from doing that very crime. And we've seen the way that the Democrats have actively gone around and this is happening over in the UK, by the way, not prosecuting the people that are doing the actual crimes, but they're prosecuting other people who report the crimes or are outraged about the crimes. They get prosecuted. Right. It's all communism. It's all a Marxist play to quieten people down, to say, hey, listen, because at the end of the day, you're either intimidated into silence or you go, what's the point? There's nothing I can do. And that's what they want us to do. Yep. They want us to throw up our hands and say, it doesn't matter, nothing's going to happen anyway. And so then eventually what is going to happen, believe it or not, guys, is they're going to stop prosecuting this. They're going to stop bringing these people forward because at the end of the day, what's the point? It's a giant, colossal waste of time and money.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right. Stick with me. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to be back with more. But I want to thank our new sponsor of the program. I love this product. If you're a dog owner, you've probably noticed how often things like looking at chew mat, constant scratching, licking paws, head shaking, recurring skin and digestion issues. I have a Doberman. She has very short hair and her skin is so sensitive. She has allergies. And normally people don't realize that it is the allergies, actually. They don't realize that about 90% of a dog's immune system also lives in the gut, as does yours, but that's a story for a different time. So when bad bacteria takes over, the immune system can become overactive and then those symptoms start to show up. That is where a supplement like Better Wild Allergy Relief Soft Chews comes in, because instead of just masking symptoms, it's designed to support your dog's allergy defense system by strengthening digestion and gut health. They have Ancestral Advantage Wolf Probiotics derived from your dog's ancestor, the wolf. Yep. Bet you didn't realize that. Helps promote a healthier balance of good bacteria in the gut, and it also includes a postbiotic from kimchi that has been clinically studied for easing itchiness and redness with daily use, and colostrum to support immune function, and salmon oil to support healthy skin and fur. I use like 3 or 4 of their products. It's all amazing stuff. The dogs love it. Right now, they're offering our listeners up to 40% off your order at betterwild.com/Sara. That is betterwild.com/Sara for up to 40% off your order. Go check them out. With our remaining time, Matt, since you are an actor, a producer, an actor, I don't really know what accent that was because I'm not a classically trained actor. There is a Broadway musical called Six. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's about the 6 wives of Henry VIII, and it like reimagines their stories in like probably a very feminist, awful way. And they've just announced some new cast members. Dylan Mulvaney was announced to be joining the cast as Anne Boleyn. And you, Matt, have the unique pleasure of you hail from England. Mm-hmm. So you're an Englishman, American, but an Englishman and an actor. Mm-hmm. What say you about Dylan Mulvaney playing the lovely Anne Boleyn?
What, doesn't Anne Boleyn get her head cut off?
Well, I don't know if she does in this particular reimagine, because I would imagine that it's like, actually, the women are taking over.
It's like, actually, you get your head cut off, Henry VIII.
And the Queen takes over. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, it's ridiculous, but at the end of the day, he is a theatre kid, right? And he always was a theatre kid.
That was what this whole thing, it felt like was.
It's all, it's all very bad, like, drama. So, I mean, look, fair play. Like, he's got a role, and
I'll be
listen, I actually like it. Do you know why I like it? Because all these idiots were behind it. So now it's taken the role from a woman who should get the role. So suck it.
Well, isn't it interesting too? Because I was of the understanding that like transgenders should be playing transgenders, right? Like Black people should be playing Black people. Like I was told that you shouldn't take that away from someone, but now it's okay if a transgender takes it away from a woman.
Well, it's not only that. It only happens when it's white people, actually.
Right. Or straight.
I mean, like now, look, they've just.
Well, if you're white and straight, you are screwed, which I know you know.
I know all about that. The white straight male, you are donezo. But no, it is really, really silly. Because nobody's going to want to go and see that anyway. No. I mean,
hello,
Chauvin.
Hello, King.
And he's like, "You've got a what? Off with her head." I think
the real reason Anne Boleyn got her head.
I think actually, if he would have contacted the Pope and said, "Actually, I want to marry Anne Boleyn, or I want to divorce her because she has a penis," I think the Pope would have gone, "Okay."
The Pope would have said, "I get it. All right, I get it. For the first time, I get it."
But Hollywood is literally they're killing themselves, and the acting industry is just killing themselves because they're doing themselves out of jobs. They're doing themselves out of work.
Yeah.
So, I'm here for it, to be honest. Like, good luck. He'll flop.
Well, yeah, I was going to say he's here for it in the sense that he's glad they're doing it. He's not going to actually go see it. He won't be there for it, but he is here for it.
Because they're just going to fail. It's just going to fail, like Hollywood is failing. And if you want to do it, I'm all for you guys shooting yourself in the foot.
Exactly. Exactly right. By the way, make sure that you go subscribe to Matt's YouTube channel. It is Matthew D. Marsden, if you're American. Add the R in there. And yeah, make sure to go and support him. He's doing really awesome things there. We will see you guys Monday.